Welcome back to TNT, Truths in Tanakh. Michael Kurlan greeting you from Kansas City. This is the Hebrew word for Hebrew. This is the verb to cross over. And it's spelled Ayin Bet Resh. Remember, Hebrew's read from right to left. So the Ayin is the letter for the eye, the Bet is the letter for the house, and the Resh is the word for head. So to see the head of the house is to be a Hebrew, because that in that language, in that culture, to see the head of the house was to see God, who was the head or the first of the family, who was building his house through Abraham. Now Abraham is called the first Hebrew in Genesis 14 because he was the first one to cross over. Remember, geographically, Ur of the Chaldees, where Abraham was called out of, he crossed over to the land of Canaan from the east. And so that's why this word, he was the one who crossed over, has a symbolic meaning to see the head of the house, because he went out not knowing where he was going, but he followed him, that he could not see it with his physical eye, but he followed him who was invisible, because he saw the head of the house guiding him into the land of Canaan. Now the Hebrews, the Ivrim, or the Ivrim, they were the servants. This is the Hebrew word for servant. If you notice, the only difference is the little tittle on the end of the dalet there. And so this is aved, which is the Hebrew word for servant, because the Hebrews, the ones who crossed over, were to represent God to the world, to be a light, and to show us how to serve or to worship the Lord. And in this dynamic of seeing the head of the house, we see that the ones who cross over are the ones who have a special identity with God, because they're the ones who were called out of the land of darkness into the glorious light. And so Abraham, of course, being the first Hebrew, is the one who has been called the father of the nations. And all the nations are blessed through him, of course, and we can see that he sees the head of the house. God is the head of his family. Now remember, when Isaac was born, he was born in the land. He never crossed over. But Jacob, before he was turned, his name was turned in Israel, he had crossed over to Paddan Aram to get Rachel and Leah and have all his children. And then when he recrossed over, he had to do that because he had to be in the line of the Hebrews, the ones who crossed over, and that would not be in the land east of the Jordan. It was the land of Israel, the land of Canaan there. So what we have to be, that we can see here, is avar. That's the word ivri. That's the word for Hebrew. Comes from the word to cross over. And the ones who crossed over were to be the ones to teach us how to worship or how to serve the Lord. So that is a brilliant thought from the Hebrew Scriptures about the ones who crossed over. So we will be reverent towards the Hebrews because they're the ones who are the original ones who crossed over and taught us how to worship the Lord. So we won't be arrogant, but we will be reverent for them. Join us again next time on Truths in Tanakh. It's Michael Kurlan. Have a good day.